Sushi. They were worried about cold butts. That's to bring the heated.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that. What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monte Sports Show. It is Sunday, December 4th, 2022. I am your host, Monte Perez, a.k.a. The Sports Whisperer. I want to thank everyone for tuning in last week. We had people in Canada, people in Mexico, people in France, 37 states tune in across the country to the full Monte Sports Show. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to like and subscribe to Team NBS. Nuts and Bolts Sports is going through a transition. We have went from just sports to covering everything. Just posted an article. It's doing very well in views about the horrible truth about Brett Favre. You could see that on my Facebook page. You could see that on my Twitter page. Make sure to follow me on social media. On Twitter, Monte JP231, and on TikTok, Monte Perez 231, Monte Perez 231. In just over a year of posting consistently, we are now at 2 million views on TikTok. 2 million views on TikTok. So thank you, everyone who's supporting us. Make sure to tune in. Follow me on TikTok. It is all sports. We have the best guests all across the country. This week is no exception. Jared Milligan, our good friend. I coached Jared Milligan in high school, and in college. I recruited him out of high school. He is going to be joining us to talk about what I think is the game of the week. Miami Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers. Two contrasting styles. You have the old offense coordinator, Mike McDaniel, going back to San Francisco to take on his mentor, Kyle Shanahan. Should be a great matchup. These games all week are going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be just great Sunday of football. We start each show with the good and the bad and the funny. So let's start with the good. All right, college football playoff, guys. It's going to be expanding to 12 teams in 2024. 70% of the fans want to see this. I think that's great for my school, like the Oregon Ducks, or for Wisconsin to get in the playoffs. Speaking of which, Wisconsin, great job to hire Luke Fickell out of Cincinnati. This guy just wins wherever he goes. He's a very good recruiter. Listen, I say this all the time. He won at Cincinnati, which is Ohio State's stomping grounds, right? It's a smaller school. Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin. I think he's going to make that Wisconsin team into a consistent 10-game winner. The Big Ten just getting coaches after coaches, which leads me to my next point, guys. So let's just be honest here. Okay, let's take emotion out of it. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Atlanta Hawks. I'm a huge fan of Justin Herbert, the Chargers, the Packers. But I don't let my emotions get involved. I will criticize. I was just listening to Greg Rector's Greg Ripes on his podcast talking about the Atlanta Hawks offense. I've been saying this for 2 years. It is straight out of 1980s. I'm not one of these people who's just going to, like the Charlotte basketball announcers, right? There could be they'd be 10-30. They're down 18 going into the fourth quarter, and the announcers are like, we got fight in us, guys. We're going to, even if we lose, this team is something special. No, it isn't. So take emotion out of the equation. Here is my Final Four without any emotion. These are the Final Four teams that should go to the Final Four college football playoffs. Obviously, number one, Georgia. They put up 50 against LSU in the SEC championship game. They've been the best team in the country for the last 2 years. Kirby Smart is having a Dabo Sweeney-like run when Dabo's teams in Clemson were going to the Final Four every year, winning every other year. So my first team is Georgia. My second team is the Michigan Wolverines. They won last night. Harbaugh now going back to the Final Four 2 years in a row. So those are the top two teams. No argument there. My third team is Ohio State. Now, look, they got pushed around by Michigan. Right? This is a soft team. I compare them to the Oregon Ducks with Chip Kelly when they'd go up against a Stanford or a physical team. They're all speed. They're not tough in the inside, and more physical teams like Georgia and Michigan will push them all over the field. But they deserve to be there. They only have one loss. Now, my fourth team is not going to be USC. We know that Lincoln Riley, from his time in Oklahoma, the guy doesn't play any defense. The USC defense is atrocious. Atrocious. So Lincoln Riley, no. I would not have them as my fourth team. I would not have TCU as my fourth team. Let's be honest. TCU is a good story. I don't want good stories in the Final Four. I want competitive games. They lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game. And let's be honest, TCU, again, nice story. They have what? Maybe 8 NFL players? My fourth team is a no-brainer. My fourth team is a no-brainer. Alabama. They lost 2 games to Tennessee, who, when they had their quarterback, was one of the best teams in the country, the last second of the game with a field goal. They lost to LSU the last second of the game, both on the road. Guys, take emotion out of it. USC would lose by 30 to Georgia with that defense. TCU would lose by 35 to Georgia. Take emotion out of it. Alabama is a top 4 team in the country with their Heisman Trophy winner last year, Bryce Young. So my top 4, not with any emotion, Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, and obviously Alabama 4. I know they have 2 losses, but they are the best team in the country. They lost at LSU at the buzzer, and they lost at Tennessee. If you think TCU wants to go there, should go there, and all these people wanting them to be there, stop it, guys. We saw what happened when Cincinnati went to the Final Four. We saw when the Fighting Irish went to the Final Four and got blown out by Alabama. They don't deserve to be there, TCU. So, yeah, USC was way ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. But I don't think again, does anyone believe Lincoln Riley can stop anyone? He had the same problem in Oklahoma. His team was horrible defensively. TCU, again, Georgia has 30 NFL players on their roster. TCU has 8. Look at Alabama's roster. It's the most. Take emotion out of it. The top 4 teams in the college football right now are those 4: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama. So that's what I would do. Listen. I have no control. I don't have a vote. So this is just my opinion. I just think Alabama should be ahead of USC and ahead of TCU. All right, now to the bad. I don't know how many more chances. Again, I wrote an article about Brett Favre and what a disaster his life has been off the field, whether it's cheating, addiction to drugs, soliciting, trying to get a Jet reporter to come to his hotel room when he tries to say that he's a man of God. But how many chances does Antonio Brown get? How many chances does Antonio Brown get? Thursday morning, it was reported that Antonio Brown has a warrant out for his arrest. The warrant issued for battery charges stemming from domestic violence incident between he and the mother of his children. The argument reportedly turned physical after Brown threw a shoe at the woman. According to the report, Brown, according to the report, locked himself in his house and told the police, "I'm not going with you." When do people who play sports get to tell the police what to do? Antonio Brown, again, it's just a terrible human being, like Brett Favre. Egotistical, misogynist, history of sexual assault. I mean, just a terrible human being. And now he's beating his wife, or allegations that he beat his wife. Just terrible, terrible. All right. So that's the good. Someone's asked me to talk more about Luke Ficken. Sure, I'll talk about him. He's gone 11-2, 11-3, 9-1, 13-1, and 9-3 at Cincinnati. This is a great hire if you're a Wisconsin fan. This guy is going to win. He's going to recruit great players, and I couldn't be happier if I moved to Wisconsin and this guy's my coach. And this guy's my coach. Thank you. Joe's saying TCU is going to the playoffs. They might, but they're going to get their doors blown off. They're going to get their doors blown off. All right. So that's the good, the bad. Now let's get to the funny. Now let's get to the funny. A Florida man, okay, from Florida, moved to Montana where he was arrested after liking a mugshot. Liking a mugshot from Crime Stoppers Facebook page. Think about how funny this is. This guy went to the Crime Stoppers Facebook page because they knew he was wanted. And what does he do when they show his picture and he's on the run? He liked it. The police were able to locate his whereabouts based on he had his what's that called when you do Facebook? Checking in, and he was checking in all over the place. Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, checking in. He liked. How much of an egomaniac do you have to be to like your mugshot on a Crime Stoppers website? The 23-year-old was arrested soon after he liked this page. I'm telling you, we have the dumbest criminals in the world in America. We have the dumbest criminals in the world. Yeah. Okay, Julio. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do think they're going. All right. I am 110-53 picking NFL games. Before we get Jared Milligan on, let's go through this. It's going to take about 5 minutes. I am 110-53 picking NFL games. All right, Packers and Bears. Justin Fields is playing. So is Aaron Rodgers. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. The Bears are giving up 25 points per contest. That is 27th in the NFL, and they're giving up a third down almost 50% of the time. That is almost last in the NFL. To be exact, that is 29th in the NFL. I look for the Packers with Aaron Jones. I look for the Packers with Christian Watson to score a ton of points. Wood has 6 touchdowns in the past. Christian Watson has 6 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Aaron Rodgers is 24-5 against the Packers. That's right, 24-25, 24-5 in his last 29 games. Packers win 33-23. 6-5 Chargers. We got so many good games today. 6-5 Chargers at the 4-7 Raiders. Raiders are playing better. Last weekend, Josh Jacobs had over 300 passing and rushing yards combined. On the season, he has 216 rushing yards, 1,159 yards total, 260 yards, 216 attempts. I don't know why I'm stumbling right now. 1,105 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. Justin Herbert continues to win despite his coach. 67% completions, 3,000 passing yards, 19 touchdowns. I like both of these teams to score a ton of points, but I'm taking the Chargers 37-33. Steelers 4-7 at the Falcons. Steelers have something brewing over the last couple of weeks. Kenny Pickett is playing better. They've won 2 out of the last 3. The Falcons are terrible. I'm going to go with the Steelers here in a slight upset at home, 23-20. This could be the last game Marcus Mariota is the starter in Atlanta. 4-7 Jags at the 4-7 Lions. Now, you may say to yourself, who cares about this game, Monty? They're both 4-7. Well, actually, I do. I'm 50-50 picking. Anytime I'm not sure, I say this all the time. Anytime I'm not sure picking a game, I go with the better quarterback and the better coach. So, are we going to say that right now Trevor Lawrence is better than Jared Goff? I don't know. If I was starting a franchise, I would take Trevor Lawrence. The Lions at home though, they are tough. But I'm gonna think that Jacksonville has found something here. When I was doing my notes, I had the Lions winning. I am changing my pick live on the air. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game 31-27. All right, the 7-4 Jets. You want to hear something funny? The Jets traveled to Minnesota. The Jets offensive players, someone had T-shirts made up that say Team Mike White. Is that not just an indictment of Zach Wilson? They have Team Mike White on their jerseys. I like the I like the Vikings here. I think the Vikings. The difference between the Vikings got pushed around right by the Eagles and by the Cowboys. But the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles, they have a good quarterback, good offenses. The Jets don't. Mike White is a nice story. They will put up points, but I'm going with the 9-2 Vikings here to win in a close one, 24-20. 24-20. Okay. You know, it's funny to me that no one outside of Washington is giving the Commanders any respect. Anytime you win 6 out of 7 with a backup quarterback, I'm sorry. That's got to be, that's impressive. That's impressive. I know people don't like this team. There's nothing flashy about them, but are the Giants the worst 7-4 team in the NFL? I love what Barkley is doing. I love what Dable is doing. But I got to be honest here. I know they're on the road, but I'm going with the Commanders here to win with a late field goal, 23-20. Great game here. 7-4 Titans at the 10-1 Eagles. This is going to be a physical smash mouth game. Both teams want to run the ball. The Titans with Derrick Henry and the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. I still think Jalen Hurts and Tua are along with obviously Patrick Mahomes, are the top 3 MVP candidates. I had the Titans winning last week and they lost. I kind of maybe overplayed them. And anytime I think the Titans are on a run, they lose. Anytime I think they're going to lose, they win. I'm going with the Eagles here. I just think they have more talent. 27-20. 3-8 Broncos at the 7-4 Ravens. Baltimore keeps playing down to their competition. I don't know what this picture is. Is Lamar Jackson possessed here? Maybe he needs to be today because they've been playing down to their competition. Russell Wilson has been. Have you ever seen a player decline from one year to another like Russell Wilson has? It is absolutely embarrassing what's going on there. I'm taking the Ravens 27-16. Deshaun Watson returns 4-7 Browns at the 1-9-1 Texans. Look, should Deshaun Watson even be playing in this league? I don't know. He served his suspension. He settled with this woman, the women that he was accused of, sexually harassing them. All indications are this guy is a borderline terrible human being for what he's done off the field. But the Texans are so dysfunctional. The Texans are so bad. They're 1-9-1. I got to think Deshaun Watson makes some big plays to his wide receivers, and they win this game easily, 27-16. Seattle 6-5 at the 3-8 Rams. We're starting to see Geno Smith come back down to earth. Why is that? Well, the teams have 11 games now to go off of film. Up until that, they didn't have anything. So teams are starting to make adjustments. He's still playing well. I've been saying this for weeks now. The Rams are going to be the first team since the 1999 Denver Broncos to lose double-digit games after they won a Super Bowl. That year, the Broncos, Terrell Davis got injured early, was out for the year, and John Elway retired, so their quarterbacks were Brian Griese and Bubby Brister. I'm taking the Seahawks here, who are still alive in the playoff hunt, 24-17. Okay, another great game. 9-2 Chiefs at the 7-4 Bengals. Remember last year, the Chiefs lost to the Bengals last season in a weird game. The Bengals beat the Chiefs 34-31 in Cincy on January 2nd, then defeated the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game 27-24. Evan McPherson field goal won the game. I keep saying this, and no one wants to believe me. Travis Kelce is the best tight end to ever play the game. And if you don't think the Chiefs, after losing twice to the Bengals, after getting knocked out in the AFC Championship game at home, are not super laser focused to win this game, you're crazy. Take the Chiefs here, and it's going to be a high-scoring game, 34-24. Finally, Sunday night, 4-7-1 Colts at the 8-3 Cowboys. The Colts want to run the ball and keep Dallas's offense off the field. Dak Prescott is playing well. This defense is playing well. How do you beat the Cowboys, right? You can't go sideline to sideline with them. Greg talked about this a few weeks ago. They are the fastest team, along with, I think, the Jets, of going sideline to sideline and catching players. You want to run the ball up the middle. That's what the Colts do well. That's what the Colts do well. But let's be honest here. This game will be competitive until about the second, maybe third quarter, but I like Dallas pulling away 31-17. 31-17. Again, I am 110 and 53 picking NFL games, 110 and 53 picking NFL games. I'll give myself a round of applause. It's a lot of work to go over these games and do what you got to do, but it's always worth it when I have people say, "Hey, during the day, hey, you were right about that." Oh, and I have people all the time, "Hey, you were wrong about that one." You were wrong about that one. But it's all good. All right. So when we come back, Jared Milligan will join us. You're watching the Full Monty Sports Show live on YouTube.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build the cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gold Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. Hashtag built for the wild.
Enjoy 40% off site-wide. Vitable takes the guesswork out of feeling good. Get your own personalized daily vitamin packs safely delivered to your doorstep every month. Take their online quiz to find out which vitamins and minerals can support your personal needs based on your own diet and lifestyle. Hashtag only what you need, nothing that you don't. All vitamins are manufactured in Australia at the highest quality standard. Ingredients come in the best form for their absorption by your body. Enjoy 40% off site-wide using code NBS40 at checkout.
All right. So, a lot of people are texting me saying, how can you have Alabama? They have 2 losses. If you don't think Alabama is better than TCU, that's a you problem. And I don't want to see USC in a Final Four where they're going to let up 60 points. This is what Lincoln Riley did in Oklahoma. He had great offensive teams, but he didn't have great defensive teams. He has not evolved as a coach. And listen, I'm lucky here in Florida. Normally I'll have to scramble around and get games and do things, but I have the Jets, Minnesota at 1:00 here. And then I have the Cincinnati game and I have the Dolphin game, which is, we're going to have Jared come on in a minute here. But when you look about this Dolphin game, and when you think about it, these are 2 teams who, we thought San Francisco this year was going to be all about Trey Lance. We thought they were going to be all about Trey Lance. And I don't know what would it. It's hard to. I'm not one of these people. But if, like people say all the time, if Jordan played against LeBron, I don't do these scenarios about this player played. We don't know what San Francisco would have been. What they would have been if Trey Lance started every game. We don't know, right? We don't know. So my whole thing is Jimmy G now, this is his team. And I don't know what you're going to do if Jimmy G goes to the NFC Championship game. What do you do? What do you do if Jimmy G goes to the NFC Championship game? Do you bring him back next year? Jared is having some difficulties logging on, so we're going to give him another minute to try to figure that out. But what do you do? What do you do now if you're the Jets and Mike White leads them to the playoffs and plays well? We already know what the Jet fans are thinking and what the Jet players are thinking, because the Jet players are putting T-shirts on, "We ride with Mike White's team." That's crazy. I know one thing. Players love Jimmy G. Players love Jimmy G. And the fact that Trey Lance didn't play lights out, I know he's young. We don't expect him. Look, I said this from the beginning, draft night 2 years ago. I wanted the Jets to take Trey Lance because I thought the Jets would be bad for 2 or 3 years and let Trey Lance develop. And if they weren't going to get Trey Lance, I wanted them to get Justin Fields. They did it. Kyle Shanahan has an interesting thing here. Yeah, that's a good point, Greg. That's a good point. That's a good point. Um, yeah, I mean, Trey Lance has got to, play better. So I don't know what the deal is, but I will say this: they didn't even let Jimmy G in the training facilities in the offseason. Once Trey Lance was the man, they did not let him do it. They didn't let him work out there. They basically said stay away. And I got to give him credit because he's been an absolute professional. He's been an absolute professional. So, it's amazing what Jimmy G has done right now. We're going to try to bring Jared on. I don't think his audio is working. Jared, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can't see you, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We can
I don't know why. For some reason, the video's not working.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you. Yeah, I can see you and hear you perfectly fine. But for some reason, on the site, it's just like it's a gray box.
Okay. That's no big deal. We'll walk you through it. I have plenty of pictures to set this up. So, if you can't get the video, that's fine as long as we have your audio. Let's start with this, Jared. Why do you run your fantasy football league like you're Tony Soprano? It is the most corrupt. It is the most corrupt fantasy football. I'm going to tell the fans just how corrupt this is. So Jared's the commissioner of our fantasy football league, and I had the number one pick in the draft, and 15 minutes before, someone threw $100 bills at him, and he redid the order, and I no longer had the number one pick. Why do you run your fantasy football like a mob boss?
Yeah, because I'm Mr. Yahoo. I control the draft picks.
Listen, Kevin Stokes is saying it. And the thing is, you try to bully people. Good thing for you is I'm like Johnny Sack. Like, I don't let you bully me. I put you in your place. Anytime you try to make a trade, Jared's like, what's in it for me? I'm like, it's not even your team. What are you talking about?
That's not true.
Bro,
you guys, you have atrocious trades. You guys are ridiculous. And right now, I'm not letting a top 4 team trade with the bottom place guy for 2 bench players for Devontae Adams. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry,
Jared.
Not happening this late in the season. It's not fair to the other one. It's not fair for the other 4 of us, 5 of us, who are fighting for playoff spots. That someone just gives away their best player.
I'm just going to leave this picture up as you because you're like a mob boss, dude. Like
any of you guys, feel free to be the commissioner. Trust me. You think it's fun,
dude? I'm the commissioner in like 4 leagues. What are you talking about?
Well, be the commissioner in 5 then, Roger Goodell. Here, you take this one. Take it over. I would gladly leave.
Beyond corrupt. By the way, you're so lucky that my Hopkins is not playing today because I played Jared this week, and I'm going to beat him again like I did a few weeks ago.
You probably are.
So
you probably are.
All right, Jared. So we talked about it early on with your boy. I think the San Francisco 49ers are politicians, right? They were not killing him, but they wanted nothing to do with Jimmy G. They wouldn't even let him in the training facility. Wanted nothing to do with him, Jared. And then all of a sudden, boom, okay, he comes out, Kyle Shanahan says, I trust this guy. He's always making winning plays. Greg pointed out he's got the same record as Kurt Warner after 56 starts. How has Jimmy G remained so professional and so focused despite the fact that they didn't want him?
Well, first off, he was definitely allowed in the training room. He was still, doing all the things necessary to get his shoulder better, hopefully to find a trade partner. Now, as far as the team not wanting him, I wouldn't say it's not wanting him. It's just that you have a very expensive piece of furniture that keeps breaking down on you. So why do you keep it in your living room? You try to get rid of it, right? You try to put it out there, but nobody wanted it. Fortunately for them, their new piece of furniture broke in half. So they had to put that old piece of furniture back in the living room. That works pretty well. You can still sit on it. It still works. It does its job. It's functional. Whether that furniture could take it to the Super Bowl, that remains to be seen. But I listen. I'm overall the way it happened. I'm very thrilled with the way it happened because we're not doing this with our seventh round rookie quarterback if we had to put him in there right now. So
Right.
it lucked out. The team. I don't want to say we're better, with Garoppolo than we would have been with Lance right now. But at least you know what you're getting with Jimmy, of course. It's just a matter of how good the rest of the team around him can be, because that's really what he's definitely not he's the car. He's the car. He's not the horse. Let's put that.
No,
out
listen, he's played well. Again, he's been to a Super Bowl. It's just I just feel, and people are killing me about. Listen, Jared, I just don't know where they go from here, because let's say they get to an NFC championship. Let's say they get to the Super Bowl.
Who
What are
cares
you
if they
doing
get there? They
next
got to
year?
win it.
Okay, so if Jimmy G gets to a Super Bowl and they lose, you're starting Trey Lance next year?
Absolutely. I might be. Listen, I still start him if they win the Super Bowl. The team is stacked, bro. It's the best team in football. There's not another team in football that has more impact players than them. It's not even
All right,
close.
well, let's talk about these impact players, because I'm so it's beyond frustrating. Kyle Shanahan, again, he overthinks the room, man. I'm so sick of this guy. He gets Christian McCaffrey, and over the last 3 games, 14 carries, 7 carries, 11 carries. Stop having this guy throw touchdown passes and run the damn ball. Can we get this guy 25 touches a game, please?
You're so obsessed with fantasy football and DraftKings and what that's what it's all about for you, bro. Do you realize what that offense has done since he's been there? How many points they're averaging? How many yards? How many? Like, they are a top 3 offense in the league since
Okay,
he's
but
gotten there.
Jared, would you admit that if you have Giannis, if you have Luka, and Luka's getting 15 points a game, or LeBron, and they're not running plays for him, that's not getting the most out of your offense. This guy's the most talented player offensively in the NFL, and they're not giving him touches.
He might not even be the most talented player offensively on the team. What are you
Oh,
talking
would you
about?
stop? Would you
The
stop?
team is so stacked. That's a lot. There's only one ball, man. So I love his role. Personally, I love it. I think you can definitely extend his career. He's not. I don't want him getting 20, 30 touches a game like he did in Carolina and end up hurt. He's a running back. These guys take abuse. What we've done, we've basically created him. He's more of like a slot receiver and a matchup nightmare, especially with him and Debo are on the field together.
Yes,
You have no idea what
but
personnel it is.
Jared, Kyle Shanahan loves the running game, right? This is what his whole life has been. It's what his father's been. He's had 18 carries in the last 2 games. That's not even a backup role getting touches, Jared. Come on,
Again,
man.
I don't care how he runs the ball. Is he catching it on 3rd down? Is he opening up the field for everybody else? Is he making impact plays when he needs to? Yes, yes, and yes. Are we scoring 30 points a game since he got there? Yes. Are we averaging almost 400 yards a game since he got there? Yes. All those things. I don't care if he's used as a shiny decoy. That's great. We have enough players around him where he could be phenomenal when used perfectly, and that's what we're doing. We don't want to use him. He's not Derrick Henry, bro. I don't know if you've seen McCaffrey. He's not exactly humongous.
Okay, all right, that's a fair point.
You know what I mean?
Jared, would you say Jimmy G? I think Jimmy G's going to the Jets next year.
If they were smart, bro, you know how many teams would love to have him right now? Think about all the teams that passed up on him that would be doing a lot better if they had him. So, again, luckily, it's not what I envisioned. It's not what I wanted in the beginning of the year, but I don't hate Jimmy G. You can't really hate the guy if you've been around him. He makes me mad sometimes with the plays he leaves on the field. Yes. However, he is a great teammate. He's a phenomenal leader, and the man's positive attitude. I don't know. It wouldn't be me. I don't know how he kept it all together and was so positive around.
Jared, you were
all that
miserable
turmoil.
when you lost your starting job due to an injury. So I know how that goes. By the way, Kevin Stokes says Jared video connection looks like he's being held hostage.
I can't stand Stokes, bro.
Kevin
He's
Stokes
such
is
an
our
idiot.
starting center. Kevin Stokes what was a poor man's Hakeem with his footwork and post moves. I will say
Oh
that.
my God. What an unbelievable. That's a humongous the confidence booster you just threw out there for him. That's wow, nice of you.
No, I'm being serious. The dude had great footwork.
Hakeem, though. You went right to Hakeem. That's
I
great.
did.
You could have
Well,
given him like Jack Sigma.
no, Jack Sigmund was like a face-up jump shooter and a little jump hook. Kevin Stokes had
That's
up and under.
Stokes.
Dude, Stokes was a solid center. He
Oh,
did a
I
lot
know
of good
that.
things
Believe
for us.
me. That's
All
my
right,
guy.
Jared. So I'm a little disappointed with this wide receiver core, and here's why. Both of them are averaging less than 12 yards, 13 yards per catch. When you look at Tyreek Hill and Waddle, they're averaging 14 and 17. You told me that Brandon Ayuk was going to lead the team in receptions. He is. He has 51 catches. But I just don't. This team is not as explosive as I thought they would be.
Well, because their quarterback is not playing, so that's part of the reason. The offense was designed for Lance, to take the big shots downfield. A lot of play action, a lot of bootlegs. Jimmy more, here let's do this wide receiver bubble screen. Here, just smoke route. Another wide receiver screen. Here, here's a running back 7 yard. Like a lot of those plays, they keep the chains moving. Of course, they keep pressure on the defense. A lot of middle over the middle of the field stuff. So it's not Ayuk or Debo's fault per se, especially Ayuk. If you watch Ayuk, I mean, he literally destroys anybody you put in front of him. He has. I've been telling you guys this for the last
Yeah,
2 years.
but
I
Jared,
thought he was the best receiver on the
slow
team, and he's
down with
showing.
that because Waddle is destroying people. Tyreek Hill are destroying people. These
Yeah,
guys are basically possession receivers based on their numbers.
well, because they have an offense that gets the ball down the field. I mean, Tua doesn't have a great arm, but he has great anticipation and he has
Right.
great touch. So he gets the ball down the field. He's leading the NFL, I believe, in like yards.
Yeah, he's top
like between 10
three
and
in almost
20.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he's killing it, bro. He's doing a great job. I mean, we'll see if he can keep that up today with the pressure coming in his face like that, with Armstead coming back, and them boys are gonna be hunting on the line. So he better figure out a way to get it out in 2.5, or else he's gonna be eating some dirt real quick today.
All right, Jared, my friend Bill texted me and he said, if you had to take one head coach for your team, are you taking McDaniel or are you taking Robert Saleh?
Oh wow, that's great. That's a great question. Me personally, I take McDaniel because the day and age of the
Really?
NFL.
Bro,
Yeah, because it's an offensive league.
You were miserable when Saleh left. You loved him.
I did love Saleh, but I also love D'Amico Ryan, so I told you it would be fine. And I remember you were like, "Oh, I don't trust him. He's a first-year
I don't
defensive
trust him, and here's
coordinator."
why.
He has the best defense in the league. You don't trust him. What do you mean?
Okay, let me tell you why.
Please.
They're way too aggressive when they don't have to be. This guy lives and dies. He's over aggressive. It's a lot like Rex Ryan, and teams are going to start taking advantage of him.
Monte, are you drunk?
No,
He's the antithesis of Rex Ryan. We don't blitz. He looks like he creates pressure with blitzes, but it's not.
No. One of the things
we blitzed like less than, and I think we're maybe second or third least amount of blitzes in the league.
I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying aggressive in blitzes. The 49ers don't have to blitz because they get a lot like the Jets. They get pressure using four guys.
That's where the philosophy comes from.
But what I'm talking about is over pursuit, misdirection, take advantage of Joey Bosa, who is a great pass rusher, but a little bit undisciplined, over pursuit, not staying in your lanes.
Well, I don't really care about Joey Bosa. He doesn't play for my team, so I worry about Nick Bosa. Keep Joey over in San Diego. I don't care what he does.
Nick Bosa. No.
What do you mean? Bosa's phenomenal setting the edge. You need to watch more. Listen, I know you hate the 49ers, and it literally makes your skin crawl when you have to watch them, but you need to start watching them more if you're going to make accusations that Bosa is an over pursuer and he's not. He's a top 3 run defender in his position in the league. He deserves to be Defensive Player of the Year. He's leading almost every category that as his position. I know he won't be. It's Micah Parsons because he has a star on his helmet.
Yes,
which is absolutely ridiculous. Bosa has played less games and has more stats, except he's a half a sack behind. But everything else he's better at, and he gets double teamed more than any other player in the NFL, besides maybe Aaron Donald.
Let's talk about your defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh is doing great thing with the Jets. I don't know if you saw the beginning, but the Jets are in Minnesota, and the Jets offensive players, someone made up a shirt, and it says Team Mike White, and all the offensive players wore it. Talk about an indictment on your boy Zach Wilson.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you were on the Zach Wilson. You were quick to that. I think it's because you were a lifelong Jets fan. You just knew they had to make the wrong decision. It's like a,
Well, no,
it's in
I
their,
mean,
it's in their
I,
DNA.
it's just when you look at someone's body of work and everything changes because of pro day, that doesn't change for me. Like
That's
just
fair.
because you have a pro day doesn't mean when you're in BYU, you're throwing to your receivers, you're on your field. That doesn't erase what you've done. I said he's a better looking, slightly stronger arm version of Johnny Manziel, and I will
Hmm.
stick with that.
Listen, man. That's at this point, that's super fair,
Okay. All
ultra
right.
fair. This dude
Let's
can't hit the backside of a barn, so
No,
I
he
agree.
can't. He can't. But the fact that the offensive players are wearing Team Mike White is pretty damning to their
Hell yeah.
former number 3 overall pick. All right, so let's talk about the coordinator. I do like him. They're number 1, giving up 309 yards per game. We all know about Bosa, but talk about other players and why this defense is so good.
I think obviously the Fred Warner, Greenlaw linebacking core is phenomenal. I think they're the two best linebackers in the league. They cover so much ground. They do so much for that scheme. They're essentially two safeties who hit hard as bricks in the middle of the field, and then you have Talanoa Hufanga, who's the dude is literally like Palomalu reincarnated. It's not something that I thought at the beginning of the year this dude would be this good. But I mean, he's the only player in the league that has 4+ interceptions, 4+ tackle for losses. So he's absolutely killing it.
Did you just say he's Troy Polamalu? Are you drunk?
Bro, this is who he trains with. This is where he went to school. This is who he's mentored by. And look at his numbers. He's playing at an all-pro level. He's right now he's one of the second or third highest ranked safety if you look at PFF numbers. If you look at just the eye test itself, I mean, he's all over the field. He does things that no other safety in the league can do. He's in the box. He's making plays. He's covering. He's a smart player, man. I'm really happy he's on the team for a 5th-round pick. That's crazy.
So when you break this game down, and let's break this game down, one of the things that I think we're going to see here is I think that the Dolphins are made for this type of game because one reason, Jared, is that they love to get for Tua to get rid of the ball quickly. McDaniel gives them 3-step drops, and it's boom.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to play bump and run, get up on the defensive, get your defensive guys up on Waddle and be physical off the ball. That's what you're going to have to do. But then you risk getting over the top beat. How do they stop this the best wide receiver duo maybe in history right now?
Damn it, history.
They're putting up legendary numbers right now.
Yeah, I don't know about history though. It's a different game. I mean, let's slow down a little bit before we talk about history. They are formidable. Listen, they have a lot of speed. Their offense is awesome. They have a genius play caller. I get that. Two is playing great. I'm not going to put them as a top tandem in history just yet. I mean,
I'm
we don't
saying,
really
I
play. We
know,
don't.
Jared, what I'm saying is this year, I'm not saying all time. That's ridiculous, right? You have Jerry Rice, Jonathan Taylor, you have a Carter, Randy Moss in Minnesota. I'm not going to say, but this year,
Yeah, yeah,
they're putting up historic numbers.
yeah. They're doing great. And we don't really play a lot of man to man though. We play a lot of we play a lot of zone.
Right.
They do no, and it's really hard to do zone better than the 49ers do zone. They have a lot of smart players, they have a lot of fast players, and a lot of instinctual players. So they don't really give up a lot of big plays. So I'll be interested to see if the Dolphins are able to get any big plays because it's very rare that you see a Niners game and there's a big play in it unless it's like a flat out coverage bust or if it's raining or a monsoon or something that's different. But if you really watch a lot of their games, they keep everything in front of them and they just swarm to the ball like a pack of hyenas. And that's what D'Amico Ryan's. That's what he always coaches them up to do is to swarm. So he says when they're in the film room, he wants to see every time the ball is being tackled, he wants to see 6 to 8 players around that ball, and it shows. That defense is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and one of the things I think we're going to see today, Jared, and again, I'm putting up a lot of pictures because for some reason Jared's audio is not working. One of
I
the things
know
I
the
think
poor people.
we're going to see today is a lot of misdirections, Jared. We're going to see a lot of, fake the handoff this way, throw it to the opposite way, a little, maybe a double reverse, maybe a flea flicker. I think that McDaniel has been waiting for this game all year long. I think one of the things, because he's dealt with the 49ers defense in practice. He knows this system very well. And conversely, the 49ers know him, but they don't
Yeah.
know him. I don't think the 49ers, again, Tua, since he came back from his concussion, 1,230 yards, 10 TDs, 0 interceptions. Jared, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Am I crazy?
Listen, it's football, so you never know what the hell happens. Somebody can get hurt, two people can get hurt, and it changes the whole scope of the game. I've seen that happen with the Niners more than I would like to count. However, Tua's last 5 games have been against basically the 5 worst teams in football. So before we anoint him Joe Montana, let's just relax. It's the Texans, the Bears,
Jared,
the
let's
Falcons.
slow down. You have a terrible division. Your division's awful.
It's not terrible. We have a team that's 6-4 in it. It's not
Hey.
like it's the NFC South.
The best division in football is the AFC East.
AFC East? I
Yes.
think you mean NFC East.
No, because I think the Patriots are better than the Giants. I think the Patriots are better than Washington. And I think the Jets.
I disagree with that.
I think the Jets are better than the Giants. I think the Jets are better than Washington. And the Dolphins and Buffalo are going to make the playoffs. So you're going to have 3 teams from the AFC East make the playoffs.
Well, right now, currently, all 4 teams for the NFC East are in the playoffs. So I think it's hard for me to listen to your statement.
I said this earlier. Jared, you watched. I mean, you live in New Jersey. The Giants are the worst 7-4 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're not great. I don't know how the hell they're 7-4. I really don't understand it. But they've had some lucky bounces. They've had some seriously, I don't know, man. I think their win-loss differential, like their point differential, is like 3 or something. It's like insane.
No, it's not. It's not easy. All right, Jared. So back to this game. Give us your prediction. Give us some keys to this game. Again, I wrote an article for Nuts and Bolts Sports. I have the Dolphins winning. I'm 110-53 picking games. I was 50-50 on this. I'm taking the Dolphins to win just because I think McDaniel's going to find 1 or 2 plays that they haven't seen. And it's like the old adage when you used to play like the Showtime Lakers. Like, you could slow them down. Like, if you slow Hill and Waddle down, you're still going to get between them 12 catches, 200 yards. That's a bad game for them.
Yeah, crazy to say, but yeah, that's probably true. Listen, they can get 12 catches, 200 yards. As long as nobody else is catching the ball, I'm okay with that.
Okay. So who do you think winning this game?
If we have a clean bill of health, I don't see how they beat us.
You're not super confident, right?
I'm never super confident, bro, because I'm a 49er fan. I got to go in every game thinking like who's going to get hurt and when. But if nobody gets hurt, this game is 34-17.
Wow, you think it's a blowout?
They're not on our level, bro. They're not even close.
Okay.
I don't think you understand how good our team is. Their defense is absolutely terrible.
No, well, I think getting Bradley Chubb has helped them. Their defense is not good. I'll be honest. But
yeah,
and this is why I say sometimes your boy overcoaches, because this is a game where Christian McCaffrey should run the ball 35 times to keep that prolific offense off the field. But he's not going to do that.
Nobody's running the ball 35 times anymore. Relax.
Listen, Derrick Henry does it.
Well, he's 6'5", 250 pounds, so it's a little different.
All right. So, Jared, let me ask you this question, too. Can we just admit right now that the greatest tight end to ever play the game is Travis Kelce, not your boy Kittle?
Yes.
Okay. Because I remember 3 years ago you telling me that Kittle is by far a better tight end.
He is better. But you're talking on the all-time scope of what they've done? Yeah, Kelce. But if I had to take a tight end and you gave me the option to take Kittle or Kelce, I'm taking Kittle. Because guess what? Kelce ain't bringing Mahomes with him. If you put Kittle on that offense, he would do everything that Kelce does. But more.
Wait a minute. You're taking Kittle over Kelce?
Yeah. And I'm not alone in
drunk?
that. No, bro. I'm not alone in that. Just because Kelce puts up gigantic. Kelce said it himself. Kelce literally said this himself. Go look on his podcast from like probably 3 months ago. He said if George played at my system, it would be the same, if not way greater. Kittle's a much better athlete than Kelce. Kittle's a much more physical runner.
Kittle can't stay healthy.
That's because he has to be a damn left tackle every game. That's why, because he's always blocking.
2, as I put this up here for you to look at, Peter Griffin. Okay. Can you calm down? Kelsey's the greatest tight end to ever play the game. He's gotten better since Tyreek Hill has left.
Yeah, but he still has a great coach and a great quarterback. Kittle's never had a great quarterback in his whole career, and he still puts up some really, really great numbers himself. So you can't really just sit here and say you never put things into context. You're always like everything's so
I don't
black and
put
white, and it's
you,
not
wait a minute,
always
hold
like
on.
that.
You don't put things into context.
Yes, I do. I'm just telling you how, because Kittle is a glorified right tackle, and Kelsey gets to be Kelsey's basically a receiver. He's basically a slot receiver. He's not even a tight end, bro.
Okay. So
They're just let's go, throw the ball 60 times a game. Let's go.
So if Kittle was on Kansas City, you think he would put up better numbers than Travis Kelsey?
Yeah, because think about it. He's a more dynamic runner. He's a more dynamic athlete. He's stronger. He's faster. Kelsey's smooth as shit. I'll give him that. He's smooth. He knows how to find holes. He's very smart. Ex-quarterback. He's a great understanding of the game. But I don't think you understand how gifted Kittle is as an athlete, though.
Bro,
he just
I
doesn't
love
get a chance
Kittle.
to show
I
it.
love Kittle, but I know people who've had him on fantasy. I've watched him play. If he catches four balls in a game, that's good for him.
That's
Kelsey
not his
catches 4
fault.
balls on a drive.
Again, because Kelsey's team ain't running it 35 times a game. That's not
You
their
just
offense.
said no one runs 35 times a game.
Not one player. I said not one player. Teams, we love to run the ball 30, 40 times, and we don't need to do it with McCaffrey. We have other people. Obviously, Mitchell getting hurt sucks because he was what they were doing. I don't know if you saw. McCaffrey was setting them up, and Mitchell was the closer. He was coming in the second half and 8-9 yards a carry.
Travis Kelsey is the greatest tight end of all time.
I would agree with that. Yeah, from what he's done, his body of work. Yeah, absolutely. He's awesome, and I love Kelsey. I think he's a great player, obviously, and he is so. I think he has some kind of spell on people because he runs in slow motion. Yeah, he just somehow always just scores touchdowns. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Bill Cowher brought up a guy from Nuts and Bolts Sports. He said, you got to remember, Travis Kelsey spent years playing quarterback, and then later in his years in college, he switched to tight end. So he knows what reads they are.
Yeah.
So I say this all the time. Him and Mahomes, they look at each other, and they know exactly what to do.
I agree with that. That's why I said Kelsey, in terms of that kind of thing, there's nobody like him because, he sees the eyes. He has the eyes of the game. He's the quarterback, basically. You're right. He's the mirror. He's mirroring what – and those guys work together. They do, a lot of things when the doors are closed, behind the closed doors, to make themselves better, to be on that kind of, to have that kind of connection without even having to say anything to know where they're going to be. And kudos to them. I mean, they've done a great job, and they're probably going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Are you a believer in the Philadelphia Eagles as I am?
It depends, man. It depends on who they're playing.
It depends. They're 10-1.
Yeah, I get it, but they haven't played a lot of good teams. If you look at their schedule.
Okay, they're in the NFC East. You just said, dude.
I know, and they haven't.
It's almost. I'm embarrassed that I keep having to call you out.
Okay, when they played the Cowboys, did they have Dak Prescott? No. So that's one game right there. Boom. That's not a real game to me. And they played numerous other teams with backup quarterbacks. They played numerous other teams that weren't that good. They almost lost to the Colts. They should have lost to the Colts.
Jared, every team, the sign of a great team is winning games you should lose.
I get that, and you asked me if you're as high on them as as you are, and I just don't think. Listen, if you're asking me,
they're going to have home field throughout.
Great. I would love to go to Philadelphia with the 49ers and destroy them because they'd have no chance to beat us.
Be careful what you wish for because that Philadelphia.
They can't stop the run, bro. That's all we do.
But that offensive line in Philadelphia is top 3 in the league.
It's top 1 in the league. I would agree with that. Their offensive line's awesome. I'm not buying them. I'm not buying them late in the year. They haven't been there. They haven't. I'm not buying them yet. Until they prove me wrong, okay.
Jared, we're in a chat room with the guys from Ramapo, and we were making fun of you setting up for your computer for the show. And
that's actually happened. That's so funny.
Exactly. I texted the chat room. I said, "This is Jared preparing for the show
crazy.
Today." And Kevin Stokes is killing you in the chat room.
I totally forgot you guys did that, and that's hilarious. How the one time in my life this thing doesn't work. It's not my fault. I'm telling you. I'm on my phone and everything. It's completely great.
All right, we're talking with Jared Milligan. We got like 5 minutes left. First, before we get his prediction for the Final Four in the NFL, Jared, how does your dad feel about Jacob deGrom leaving? I think it was way too much money for the Mets to give him. Let's remember something. The Mets won over 90 games without Jacob deGrom being a starter. He got, 5 years, $185 million to go to a losing Texas Ranger team. How's your dad feeling right now?
The man is in denial. It's the funniest thing in the world. I talked to him
Okay.
last night. He goes, "Yeah, I don't think he's going." I said, "What do you mean, Dad?" It's a deal. It's already. Nah, I don't think he's gonna leave. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like the scorned woman who's like, the man left. He packed his bags. He's out. He's like, he'll be back. He's gonna come back. No, bro, he's out the door. Like, let it go.
He's out the door for 6 years now, right?
Yeah, and all that money tax free.
Yeah.
He's good. I think he ain't coming back, man. That's it. But I tell you what, it was pretty cool. I was telling him, I was like, well, we at least we got to go see a game together and him pitching. The game I went
And
to
they
this
won
year, I
that
took
game,
him.
right?
Yeah, the Mets won and he pitched. So I'm like, at least you got to go see him play. His last year in New York. That's pretty cool.
Jed, since your computer setup is from 1989, I'm just going to put this graphic up for you. Jacob deGrom, Texas Rangers.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Jed, I was not as emotional as I thought I would be because, like I said, it's a
Well, you're
lot of
dead
money.
inside.
Well, that is true. That is true. I am dead inside. That's probably the most observant thing you've ever said, and we'll move on. I am literally dead inside. That's very funny. Okay, who is your final four in the NFL?
Um,
Let me guess, you're taking the 49ers.
no, I don't think I can because it's just the injuries, man. If we have injuries turned off, then yes, they're in my final four. But unfortunately, injuries aren't turned off, so I'm probably going to stick with my original guns and keep Tampa Bay somehow in the
Come
championship
on,
game.
really?
Bro, they're
They
going
look
to cheat for this dude.
awful.
Yeah, no kidding, but they're going to cheat for him. And just every year, it's the same thing.
Okay,
The
but
year they won the Super Bowl, they shouldn't have gotten there. They barely made it to the playoffs. And all of a sudden, all these things happen for them. It's all the bro. You can never count them out. So I'm gonna say Eagles
I
and
have
Bucks.
no faith in Todd Bowles. No faith in Todd
Yeah, I
Bowles.
don't either. But I have all the faith in refs cheating for Tom Brady, which is I've been watching for 25 years of my life.
Okay, so you have Tampa Bay and who? The Eagles?
Yep.
And who do you have in the AFC? Are you going with I'm not a believer of the Bills. I've been saying that on the show for 2 years.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are better than them. By the way, give me some props. I'm going to pick 6. I picked 6 out of the 8 division winners. The 2 that I lost, the LA Rams and the Colts, I thought they were going to win the division. Every other division winner I have. I had the Eagles winning their division. I've had everyone else win. Are you buying into the Chiefs and who else?
I got the Chiefs and Ravens.
Dude, that offense is so clunky with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, they'll find a way. They'll figure it out.
Bro, he's
I
got
just
no
have a
wide
feeling.
receivers.
They don't. No, I think they're okay. I just
Are
think
you
that
shocked?
when
Go ahead.
the weather gets colder, when you run the ball more, those teams seem to kick it up a notch, and nobody wants to tackle a team 40 times a game like that going at them.
So I do a show on Monday night. It's a recap with Brad Ward and Amarie Castillo. We recap the Sunday games, and we preview the Monday game. No one hates Russell Wilson more than Brad Ward. Jared, how much are you loving that this guy is just a fraud?
You know what? This guy just finds a way to screw me no matter what he does. I was actually rooting for him because that pick is now going to be a top 5 pick going right back to Seattle and letting them it's unbelievable.
That's so true. Oh
How
my
did
God,
that
I didn't
happen,
think
bro?
that.
How do you torment me for 12 straight years? As soon as you leave, you become the worst player in football and you just give all these picks away to this team. It is how that happened, I will never understand. Now the Seahawks are going to be good again for the next 5-10 years.
And not just that, Chad. If you think about it, they have a ton of cap space now. They have a ton of picks. They're going to make the playoffs, so they won't get a high pick. But if Denver wins 5 or 6 games, they get that pick.
I know. It's already a top 5 pick. Seattle had the best draft class in football this year.
Yeah.
Their draft class has been unbelievable.
And let's be honest, Pete Carroll has done a terrible job with certain picks.
Well, he doesn't. Snyder's a GM. He's not the GM. But I mean, I guess maybe he has some input. But yeah, they've been horrible for the last 10 years of making picks. But somehow this year, they put it all together. I mean, they got 2 starting tackles, a stud running back, the best defensive back, not named Sauce Gardner in the draft. The guy was drafted in like the 4th round or
And
something.
remember, Jamal Adams is out for the year.
Yeah, he's not good though. So they kind of dodged the bullet with him. He's a
He
liability,
was like
bro.
3rd in sacks last year before he got hurt too. The guy, they don't use him. They use him as a linebacker. They don't really use him as a safety.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And linebacker, he gets manipulated so badly in pass coverage. So I love when he's on the field. I know, especially we play against him. We just here we go, just here run at him and just run any way you want, left or right. He won't know which way you're going. He's just a terrible.
So your hatred is just increased because Denver's going to give him the pick.
Yep, I think it's made me even more angry than years past, just because of it's the principle. It's like, bro, how do you all of a sudden become a Pop Warner football player after all these years?
Did you hear the rumors that he's calling Seattle Seahawks audibles at the line of scrimmage? And players are
I
like,
didn't hear that.
yeah. This is from like a legitimate source. Two games ago, Russell Wilson's at the line of scrimmage and he changed the play and he calls a Seattle Seahawk play. Like he lost his mind. And I don't know if you know this, but when you want to contact him, you're like the players on the team are not allowed to have his number. You got to go through his management team and they give him the message and then he decides if he calls you back or not.
Is that real? Is that true?
That is a true story, 100%. Legitimate source.
That's terrible. Listen, man, there's a lot of players who were very vocal about the guy he is and how much they disliked him and who they thought he was, especially like Richard Sherman.
Oh yeah.
If you listen to Richard Sherman, how he talked about this dude and how he just ain't what he leads on. Put it that way. He's a
total
very
fraud.
selfish guy.
He's fraud.
He's all about himself. He's a lot of these things, and now it looks like it's coming to fruition over there. And of course, just in time for them to give away a lot of picks. So,
final question. I think, this is a question and kind of like a compliment. I think I should win an Emmy just for doing this interview without, the screen, because Jared basically has like a 1980s setup in his house. But Jared, just one more question. How much money were you given to give away my number 1 pick in the draft?
$1.2 million.
No, come on, dude. Dude. Like, how shady was that? I had the number 1 pick in the draft. 15 minutes before the draft, Jared's like, "You got the number 6 pick now."
Bro, the number 1 pick's overrated anyway.
Doesn't matter. You prepare. You do mock drafts with the number 1 pick and 15
well, guess
minutes.
what? In life things. Listen, life happens. You got to adapt, baby. You got to have adaptability. That's not on me. That's on you for not being prepared. You should have been ready for the top 5-6 picks. Like, anything could happen. So if you don't make the playoffs, that's going to be an excuse.
Anything can happen when your fantasy football commissioner acts like he's Tony Soprano and just you got to kick back all things. Final question, Jared.
Hold on, time out. Wait, real quickly. If I was Tony Soprano, would I give myself the 10th pick both times? Really? If I'm going to rig something, don't you think there's going to be something in it for me? I really got the 10th pick on the first draft and the second draft. So believe me, it had nothing to do with me.
By the way, Jared, is Kevin Stokes always this funny, or have I missed something?
Yeah, Stokes was hilarious. You just never got to. He wasn't around like that because he commuted. Remember, he didn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys almost fighting all the time.
Yes, that is true. That is very true.
If you wanted to get into the weight room.
Yes, that is true. 100%. But I will say this: Kevin Stokes, solid center for us. Solid.
Hell yeah.
By the way, Jared, you didn't tell us this. Who do you think your MVP is? I think if the Dolphins win the division, it's got to go to Tua.
Nah, man, it's got to be Mahomes. Mahomes is still Mahomes. I mean, they're after today. If they win, they'll be 9-2.
No, they're 9-2 right now, Jared. But that division
he'll have
sucks.
30. He'll have 30+ touchdowns already. Like
Jared, that division sucks.
Yeah, but listen, you know how it is, man. It's a popularity contest. Just as we talked earlier about with Micah Parsons, how he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and he absolutely shouldn't. But he will.
I wouldn't say he doesn't absolutely shouldn't. The guy is a menace on defense.
He is. He is. I shouldn't say he shouldn't, but I'm sorry. I should rephrase it to he shouldn't have it won already.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's what I mean to say. He shouldn't. There's a lot of game left, and if you look at the raw numbers and just the effect on a game, he's still not Nick Bosa. I'm sorry. He's just not. Bosa is literally doubled and chipped on every single play. He's doubled 24% of the time, still gets 25%, almost 25% pressure rate. He has the most quarterback hits. He has the most tackle for losses. He's second in sacks, and he's played 2 games less than everybody else. don't forget we had a bye and he got hurt in a game that he had to leave in the first drive. So like people
Well,
aren't
that
they're
you know that's a
underestimating what this dude's done.
That's a very fair point, and this is like the argument I'm making for the college football Final Four. People are texting me like crazy, saying, TCU should get in. Why? They lost their.
Yeah,
Listen,
they had a chance.
if you're going to pick the Final Four before the conference championship game, don't
Yeah,
have a conference championship game.
you're right. You're right.
TCU
You're absolutely
lost.
right.
Alabama again. Alabama on that roster has about 25 NFL players.
Yep.
TCU has maybe eight.
Yeah.
And Alabama lost 2 games at the last play of the game to Tennessee when their quarterback was healthy on the road, and to LSU the last play of the game. Don't tell me
Yeah.
that TCU deserves to be in the Final Four. And Jared brings up a good point. Why are you already ordaining someone MVP or giving it to Parsons when the season's not over yet?
Yeah. There's a lot of time left, man. So it's really difficult to say because a lot of things could happen in the last 5-6 games that are out there. So, but I agree with you on the TCU thing for 1,000%. Like, yeah, they don't have the conference championship games obviously matter as
And
they
not just
should.
that, Jared. Honestly, like, do you think, okay, TCU's a nice story. I don't want a nice story in the Final Four. I want the 4 best teams.
I agree with that. Yeah, Alabama has to be in there. I mean, listen, the SEC rules. That's just what it is, and until
And they
other
should rule. They've won,
yeah,
what, 6 out of 8 championships?
they're better. They're just you're right. If you want the best teams in there, that they are part of
Julio,
that
I
best team.
appreciate you
area.
complimenting Jared here, but he
Oh,
didn't have his
thanks, man.
camera set up. He didn't have his camera set up.
It's okay,
So
but my content's still so golden that look, it shines through the darkness of my block on the screen. I just resonate with people. That's what I do.
Jared, you hate 97% of the world.
That's okay. There's 3%. That's a lot of people left. That's a lot of people, man.
I will give you credit for one thing. Everything I threw at you, I'm throwing haymakers, and you're coming back with a soft jab. You're not hurting me, but you're letting me know that it's there.
If you say so. Don't forget, I sell cars, so I do this every day.
You did a tremendous job. I say this all the time. I have writers on the show, actors, athletes. There's no one better at covering the 49ers than Jared. And I say this complimentary. He's obsessed with them. If the 49ers was a woman, they'd get a restraining order from Jared. He'll
Yeah.
text me at like 11 o'clock at night about some third stringer who no one knows about is missing a game because of a groin injury. I'm like, Jared, who gives a crap?
That was a good analogy because yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm a little overboard, and I
A
feel
little? A
yeah,
little?
yeah. I feel like my
Jared,
wife thinks the 49ers are my mistress for sure.
Jared said to me one time, "My life is over." I'm like, "Oh my God, is he sick? Did he get into an accident?" He's like, "Bosa just left the game." I'm like, "That's your life over? You have a beautiful wife. You have a great job. You have 2 lovely kids. By the way, your son's gonna be like 6'8", 270. Hopefully, he'll
Yeah,
play
probably.
offensive lineman."
No, he's gonna no. I'm definitely gonna have him playing D end all day. He's athletic as hell. He just he takes after daddy.
Jared, have him play linebacker. Don't have him play D end.
He's gonna be too big for a linebacker. He's already almost a linebacker size. He's gonna be like
But
Myles Garrett, bro. He's gonna be huge. So I can't have him out there at linebacker. He's got to be out there just demolishing the quarterback.
And again, it's not that I hate TCU. It's just they're not good, Jared. Seriously. But you did say that to me. You said my life is over. Bosa just left the game. I'm like, first of all, he doesn't follow it up. He goes, my life's over. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Is this divorce, fired,
I don't remember any of
illness?
that.
And he said Bosa just left the game.
I'm not going to deny it because I don't know, but I don't remember it. I listen. My emotions do get high during the game, so I'm liable to say some things
By
that
the
I
way,
don't mean.
I'm gonna, if you want, I did this. I don't know how active you're going to be on Twitter during the game, but I did this with Brad Ward. He was tweeting me when the Browns played the Dolphins because I live tweet for the Dolphins game. If you want to tweet, tag me, and we could have your fans who follow you have that perspective, and the Dolphins fan who follow me have your perspective. So I don't know if you tweet
Yeah,
during the games or you're just in your man cave.
not really. Only when like something bad happens or no, I'll tweet. But like pretty much, I'm trying to watch the game. But I'll see what I can do.
I'm going 33-26, and you're going 34-17, San Francisco.
If nobody gets hurt, yeah.
Okay. All right, Jared. You did a great job despite having no I couldn't see you. I just had to hear you. Great job. People love you in the chat room. Again, Jared's a lot like Russell Wilson. He's a fraud. He may
Oh my God.
appear to have a great personality. He's
Oh my
angry
God.
all the time.
Listen. If you're gonna compare me with anybody, please, just not him. You can compare me to anybody else. I don't care. Just not Russell Wilson. You ain't gotta do that to me.
Bro, send this to your dad. I think he'll
That's
laugh.
hilarious. Yeah, he wouldn't have had to open that. You kidding me?
So
He wouldn't have a clue.
He really thought that he was staying.
No, man, it's not thought. Thinks. I literally talked to him at like 10 o'clock last night. He's like, "Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go." I'm like, "What do you mean, bro? He's gone. Like, what do you?" No, I don't think he's gonna go. It didn't happen yet. I'm like, you need help, man. He's gone. That's it, man. Let it go.
Well, listen,
I'm
you
sorry.
know this from talking. Watching the game with my dad, you would think that the Mets lost 100 games last year.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that one, everyone sucks. No one's
Every
worth.
play.
Pete Alonso's a bum.
Yeah, they're the same person. I'm telling you. When I go there and if I'm just like sit down and watch the game, and we're 3 innings in, and I swear this is like the Cleveland Indians back in Major League or something. Like they're like a 40 and 120 team. I'm like, bro, they won like 98 games. Like, relax. What are you talking about? Like, they're a good team.
They tied the Braves. They won 101 games.
Yeah, like I'm like, come on, man. Like you gotta, be Pete Alonso's terrible. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's terrible. He's an all-star hitting 120 RBIs, 40 home runs. He's terrible though.
My dad wants Lindor to hit a grand slam when no one's on base. it's 1-0. This game's over in the first inning. I'm like,
look at him swinging. Oh my God, he always swings at that same pitch. Always at that. I'm like, here you go. I'm
Bro,
like,
what we got to do next year, we got to record them and just send it to each other just to see how they're the same person.
It would go viral, honestly. Like that's a good idea. I should have been doing this.
Yeah, but Jared,
we would be rich by now.
Get someone to do it for you because obviously you don't have the technological skills.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have like
true.
a rotary cell phone right now.
No, that's Tennyson. That's Tennyson. We all crack on him. He destroys the group chat with his green bubble. He needs to get the iPhone like the rest of us. And he walks around with his Game Boy. He doesn't have a damn iPhone, so it kills all the chats, all the videos.
Yeah,
he gets messages late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, he used a damn courier pigeon. I'm like, come on, T.
All right, Jared. Great job as always. Good luck today. I'm sure when Miami's up 14-3, you're gonna be like, season's over.
Probably, yeah.
All right, Jared. We'll talk to you later. Great job by Jared Milligan. I want to thank all of you. Remember, tomorrow we go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Brad Ward and A-Marie in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
They were worried about cold butt. That's great to heat it.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that.